Whatever it takes. How we doing? I'm sure a lot of you guys didn't get a lot of sleep last night.
So
All right.
what is the mood as you start this next phase? I mean, do you feel pretty excited for yourself because it's your first time being the man here?
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited that we get to go out and play some football, right? Like, I'm grateful that we got the extra weeks, but sometimes it's like you're just separate offense, defense a lot. Even as a head coach, you're ready for let the guys kind of go compete against one another. And man, we've had an outstanding offseason, man, and it's really cool to kind of see it all come together, right? You spend a lot of time when the guys aren't here. But just getting out on the field yesterday and just offense, defense kind of going against each other, man, a lot of fun, a lot of excitement.
For you, I mean, obviously you're in tune with the offense. You've been here long enough to know the defense. Seeing that now for the first time with Jim kind of getting things set up, is that kind of maybe the most exciting thing for you is to see how that's going to start looking to fit together?
Yeah, it's all. I mean, look, I think the big thing for me is just managing my time with it all, right? Like, we obviously have to continue to grow the offense as well, right? But also setting the foundation of everything that we're doing in the building, right? So the defense is just another part of it. It's been a lot of fun, kind of seeing it kind of all come together, seeing a lot of the new faces, kind of how they kind of fit, right? We had some guys, that were injured last year, seeing them be able to get back out on the field. So I'm excited about where we're at. I remember doing my first year in the offense, right? You got to set the foundation and be smart about not putting too much in initially, and then you kind of ramp it up as we go, end of OTAs and the training camp. So it's been cool to be a part of the installation process, and I really like where we're at right now.
Joe, how has Josh gotten through the first part of everything with his foot leading into this?
Yeah, no, as you guys know, Josh, right? He's good. He's good to go, and was out there spending it yesterday, and really cool to see. I mean, look, I think we're fortunate with a lot of the guys that we have on this football team that we play a lot of primetime games, and when you got a guy like Josh Allen, it's part of it. But I think it's the NFL, right? Every single game, there's no such thing as an easy one, no such thing as, oh, this one's going to be harder than the others. Like right now, you can pay a lot of attention to it. It's the last thing, it got in front of me. I looked at when we're playing. I know we play a lot of days of the week, but those guys will have to play us and not the other way around. I know that.
What kind of updates can you give us on two defensive guys, Terrell Bernard and Ed Oliver? Are they full go at this point in the offseason? Where are those two guys?
Yeah, it's kind of, and I can kind of say this as like holistically from an injury standpoint. It's unique too because you guys are only here once a week. Right, so it's going to be a little tough probably from a reporting standpoint from that, right? Because there's going to be guys, particular like TB. There's going to be guys that did more yesterday that might not do as much today, or guys that didn't go yesterday that are going. Like we have, there's reality, right? Guys are injured. It's football. I think we have a great plan for a lot of those guys. The plan is to have these guys ready to go for training camp, right? And so it's good to get Ed Oliver out on the football field. Good to get TB, get around these guys, but we got to be smart about what we're doing. Knowing that training camp's in a month, 2 months, and we can't win it all right now. So if we overdo them with a lot of the reps, we got to be smart, and we're installing a new defense. We need to get a lot of guys reps. We drafted some young guys, so it's all opportunity with it. But, yeah.
So along those lines with those two guys, though, in particular, and their fit in this new defense, I mean, a lot is unknown in terms of how that'll look. I know it's very early returns, but how do you think it'll look for those two in particular?
No, I mean, look, I know it's different scheme, but like there's still an element of playing the linebacker position, the defensive tackle position. Maybe the type of run schemes that Ed might see on a basis in certain defensive groupings that might be different than he's seen in the past. There might be which is also different for TB in terms of how some of the fits might happen, but. I think the calls are different, but the way that the game is played and how they're being attacked, once they figure that out, at the end of the day, I think it ends up playing the same for them.
Joe, now that you've had a few weeks of these voluntary different phases, what's been your impression of the attendance overall?
I've loved it, man. Now maybe Bean just does a really good job in putting in their contracts so they get money to be up here, but I think the guys, we have a great locker room and a great group of guys that want to be here in Buffalo, want to be around the guys, and it's part of the reasons I enjoy going away for training camp, right? Is you go away and the guys are together and they're connecting. And this is the time of year that a lot of the guys have homes elsewhere. Maybe their families might not come, so the guys are around. So whether it's their contract or not, I think the guys enjoy being around here. It helps that we have some of the new schemes and the new kind of coming around. But no, I've been really pleased with our attendance, and I think it's showing out there.
Joe, one of those positions that does not have an incumbent from last year is your nickel spot. What are your expectations there with, the candidates you'll be rolling through there for that position?
Yeah, I think, look, we were very intentional about a guy like D. Alford, and bringing him in and his versatility to be an inside, nickel and have the flexibility to play on the outside, right? And so one of the perks of being a versatile defense is you're going to be playing nickel, you're going to play base defense, you're going to have a bunch of different packages, and having them as many guys as we can move around as possible. And so you guys will see out there today, there'll be a lot of guys kind of rolling and rotating in that, but fortunately, we got a guy like D that has done that at a high level, going against him, and a clear fit and vision for how he's going to fit in this defense.
Joe, a lot has been, well, as you well know, been made about Keon.
Didn't know that.
How have you gone about reassuring, and I know you backed him and told you backed him. How have you gone about reassuring him, or have you had to, in any way, and how's he looked?
Yeah. Keon is like the way that he approaches his day. Like, he knows that some of the elements that happened last year, he owned them, right? And he knew going into this year, it's another opportunity, right? Like, I made sure once I got the job, I let him know he's going to be here and he's going to be a part of our offense, man. And I'm excited about him progressing in this offense and getting with Josh and doing those things. And we communicated a lot this offseason about what he's doing, what he's working on, and seeing here, coming here and working and seeing. It's been really cool to see the perspective from Pete Carmichael and Drew Terrell and Bo Hardegree, and like watching training camp reps from last year, watching some things and then seeing them kind of all come together. But loved the work ethic, loved how he's kind of been doing it right now. Again, we just had one day going against the defense, right? So this is a lot of routes on air and just the approach. But that's been the biggest thing with him is establishing a pro mentality, and he's done everything we've asked of so far.
Joe, it's not often though, and I know there are well-known issues that happened with him missing meetings and being late for meetings last year. But it's not often that the owner mentions the player's name. Is there how do you deal with that?
Look, I don't know what's often or what's not, but when as a professional football coach, as a professional football player, like, you can't get caught up in what's said about you. You just show up and do your job, right? And there's been calls that I haven't been approved of, and it's part of it, right? But you wake up and you just do your job to the best of your ability. And if you focus on what's being said about you, if you focus on the outside noise, it's probably going to impact your play, right? And you hope we have a locker room of a bunch of guys that have that motivation and care and love for their players and their families, and that's kind of what drives them, and not necessarily what's being said on the outsides.
Joe, I was just going to say, in that case with supporting Keon, does it add an element of, I'll say, pressure maybe for him? It's year 3 of 4 for him, and you have high expectations for him. Do you think it does, and in that in some way almost intentional, because you need him to be a better player for you guys?
Yeah. I don't think anybody's ever had higher expectations than Keon for himself. I'm not saying, I've never tried to put expectations on players, right? Like, because sometimes sometimes it's warranted based upon where they're drafted, but sometimes it's like, hey, man, we might be putting them in a box that they're actually can probably be better than who they are, right? Keon understands, the role that he can have in this offense. I think he understands the things that have happened in the past, but he also has known that, hey, look, that's going to be things that are going to be questioned about him, and he can't control that. All he can control is what he's doing moving forward, and not putting any more pressure on himself. Just go out there, run the routes, do your job, man, block in the run game, make the touchdown blocks, do the things that, that he's capable of doing, and just upholding that standard every single day. And I believe he'll be able to do that.
You had DJ Moore this offseason. How important is that quarterback wide receiver chemistry piece, and how much is this period of time over the offseason program, how much are you able to kind of dive into that if you're Josh Allen and DJ Moore to kind of develop that?
No, it's huge. Look, you guys, you remember and I'm not equating it to that right now. They just started, but the chemistry that him, Josh and Steph had, Josh and Gabe had. Like, guys, when you're playing, Josh has with Khalil right now, and Dawson, Dalton, when you're playing with someone for a while, you understand how they speak to you running routes, right? The body language, like, hey, when I do this, this is what this means, right? And I think a lot of times we take that for granted. Like we think like guys can just come in here and pitch and catch, but there is nuances to running routes. There's nuances to like how they speak to you. And so this is the time of year that we kind of do that. And look, there'll be times like, I'm sure there'll be times out of practice that you'll be like, man, I feel like Josh might have forced that throw. And then you look and it's like he forced the DJ, but he might have tried to get a feel of like, hey, kind of let's sort through that. Let's talk through that. Hey, I wanted to see kind of how that felt throwing that in cut to him, And so, not saying, hey, that's what I want him to just force throws, but I think there's some components of him trying to get a feel of, the timing of the routes, the speed in which he comes out of some of the breaks. And and the only way you can kind of get that chemistry is by kind of working at it at a full speed level, not necessarily just routes on air. And so we try to be really intentional about some of these routes, and some of it is just putting, maybe it's not necessarily putting DJ at the primary of a play and making, trying to be intentional about, hey, I might put a play down and make sure I got the worst coverage possible for her, so Josh has to progress back to it and maybe find DJ from there. And so now it's, hey, how do I get my body in a certain position to throw a football? Oh, now I'm coming back to DJ as opposed to, hey, he's the primary, good, I get the completion, I keep moving forward. So there's a lot that goes into it, but I think they have developed so far a good chemistry in terms of communication, in terms of, hey, this is what I'm looking for. Hey, what did you think there? And I think that's all you can ask for at this point.
You guys lost some leaders on defense this offseason. How have you seen some of your additions, step in and maybe contribute to the culture at this stage of the offseason? How do you feel about that side of the ball in terms of the different voices that you have, in your locker room? A lot of young guys.
Yeah, and I think, it was obviously a tough year for Terrell Bernard last year, right? When you're injured, right? He had a C on his chest, and it was deserved, and it is deserved. But it's hard when you're not out there, right? And so I think his leadership has strengthened just from that experience, right? Of like, hey, you know what? I can't just be a leader when I'm out on the football field and forcing you to have to kind of take the defense, when I can't actually be the one making the calls and going out there, right? You bring in a guy like Bradley Chubb, right? Like I've said it before, like when we evaluated him, like that C on his chest was important to me, but I wanted to get to know him to know if was he just a captain because he was their best player, or was he their captain because of everything else that kind of comes with it. And I mean, you can spend, I don't know how much interaction you guys have had with him, but it's pretty clear to see like he has alpha traits. He's a leader. Guys follow him. You see what he's naturally grabbing guys, and they're in the weight room after practices doing stuff that, I can't even pronounce. There's some elements of it, but he's fit in. It's been very smooth, and then it's a challenge of some of the young guys. Like, hey, there's no such age limit of being a leader, right? Like, and there's different ways to lead, right? There's communication ways. There's ways of just, hey, I'm going to work, and they're going to follow me, and so. And look, Jim sets the tone of that room, man. He's a great leader, and I think the guys follow him, and kind of sets a standard. And been really excited about the guys that we've had, and knowing that, hey, Josh has been here a while, but now having more guys on defense that are going to help kind of take that next step.
Joe, as you guys get going with OTAs here,
I'm sorry. Hey, we're all kind of getting back going right now.
what do you want to see out of the team over the next few weeks?
Yeah, there's I care, like, I know this probably isn't the right answer, like, and I told the team this, right? Like, coordinators will focus a lot more on the scheme right now, like the X's and O's, like making sure that the offense is where it needs to be, where the defense needs to be. I care way more about all the other things right now. Like, I want to see how we run to the football. I want to see how we celebrate, each other's success. I want to see, the tempo in and out the huddle, and are we getting lined up, and, the communication in the back end from a defense, and are we on the same page? Like, I'm not concerned with the big plays right now. I'm not concerned with, some of those other elements. We'll make mistakes. There'll be plenty of mistakes out there today. There was mistakes yesterday, but what does it look like the next day? Did we learn from the mistakes? So I'm really focused on the how by what we're doing right now, and then we'll continue to progress that into training camp and really hone in on the scheme. That's not to say I'm not focusing on it, but with the team, I want them to know that we're going to care about things that maybe other people won't.
What do you want to see from the guys who are competing for left guard? Obviously, no pads on right now, but that spot, what do you want to see from them?
This time of the year is so important. I don't want to, but it is really tough to be an offense lineman, defense lineman this time of the year, right? Like, there's a reason we wear pads, and there's only so much that they're allowed to do in these phases, right? And so their individual time is honestly the thing that's the core and the most important thing for them. And then once pads come out, it's going to kind of roll. And so I thought we've done a great job of bringing in depth with it, right? Alex played a lot of football here. We've got guys that have been vets that have played a lot in the NFL. You know, we had some draft picks. Like, it's going to be a great opportunity for a lot of guys to kind of compete and go out there. And we know that there's going to be just a revolving door right now, just because I think it's a great opportunity for us. The perk of offensive line, while you want the chemistry that we've had, is there's 5 guys out there, so we can get a lot of reps for those guys. And so some of it might not be playing that exact left guard position. It might be someone playing a right guard position, but for us, that's stealing some reps and taking something off of Saibo right now or something like that. So once we get to training camp, that's when it's obviously going to get real for those guys.
You talked at the draft about IGB and his competitiveness. Have you seen that translate to the field, even again pretty early in the process here?
Yeah, absolutely. You can look. I'm learning defense of certain guys' personalities on defense. Right, there's certain elements of when I was an offensive coordinator, offensive coach, that used to piss me off, and now that I'm the head coach, I freaking love it. Right, and so there's that competitiveness that I want us to play with, and that chip that I want us to have in the edge. And I don't think you can be a dominant corner or a dominant wide receiver without those type of things, right? And so, again, not setting any expectations on rookies, and I just want him to kind of be comfortable kind of being who he is and taking the coaching and seeing how he's going to respond with it. But look, he's played obviously at a high level, and he's going to make mistakes right now, but you can tell he's not backing down from some of the opportunities in the competition, and excited about where he's been so far.
Can you talk about not setting expectations for players in general? How do you balance that with motivating them and making sure standards are met? Just what does that balance look like?
Well, I think the most important thing is you show what you think the standard is, right? Like, I don't think you can just tell guys this is what I'm looking for without them actually seeing what that looks like, or what it ultimately should look like, and then give them some of the growth of where they're at. I think you need to be real with it, but I think the most important thing is you got to kind of understand who they are too, right? Like, if I just try to build a relationship with them that is purely about football and I don't care about anything else outside of football, I might not be able to reach them in the same way. And so when I say I don't want to put expectations, like, these guys are NFL football players, they probably hear it from everything. They have high expectations for themselves, right? And sometimes it's hard for guys to accept certain roles, right? It's really hard, especially this time of the year, and right. And so to me right now, I just want guys to understand of like, hey, let's just focus on what you got to do today, and not worry about what it's going to look like in training and what's going to look like in the season. Like, let's stack days right now. Let's have a great day today, and everything will take care of itself.
Joe, with respect to you're more scheme focused at training camp, but with relative to defense, what are the things that players need to take away, sort of from this time of year to the summer to be able to be successful to transition to the type of defense you want to play?
Yeah, when I say I'm not like focused on the scheme, that's not me saying I'm just like, hey man, after practice I'm just rolling up to the office saying, hey coaches, have a good day. So I'm diving into it, but I also want to allow the coaches to coach right now, right? And we're all in this together, right? Like, we're growing. There's things that I'm tinkering with the offense that you might go out there and you're like, you know what? Let's mess with that a little bit more. But I don't think that's going to be one that I want to work come training camp. Or there's some things that we're always kind of looking and being proactive in our own development. But I think you can see when a defense is connected. You can see when a defense communicates right now. And I think that's what's a huge component of the offseason is them spending time with like, people don't think it's a big thing, but like going out to dinner with one another, like, that's big, right? You're breaking bread, you're hanging with your guys. There's that, there becomes a level of accountability and trust in communicating with one another. And it's the little things like that in the offseason is important, right? And so once you get out there, then when you're making calls and you're doing those things, you can kind of have a better feel for it. I know it sounds like, dude, that has nothing to do with football, but those are the things that have a lot to do with football. And there's going to be so much scheme that are going to be thrown at these guys for this next month, right? And seeing who can kind of handle it and communicate and be able to just respond. So I don't want you to think that we're just going as basic as it can get right now. Like, we're flooding them with a lot of things. But we know that we're going to dial back and really focus in on kind of who we want to be kind of once we get into the season.
Heard about the joint training camp practice with the Browns. Are you looking at any others, or is it just that one?
It'll be just with the Browns. You guys just selfishly thinking about you guys. Got it.
Joe, what have you seen from Dalton to do what he can to make sure he's more available? Obviously, freak injuries.
Yeah.
But just to be more available on the field, what have you seen
Yeah, I mean, look, he's when you look at Dalton, you can tell that. Look, Dalton did everything he needed to do last offseason, right? I mean, it was part of it was just trying to get a feel of how he was going to be able to play with some of the injuries and kind of going through it, right? And it wasn't there was no situation last year where he was just like, man, like I just don't want to play. Like he's as competitive as it freaking gets, right? But this offseason, man, it was a lot of fun seeing him come back. It was cool to see him come back and like he looks bigger, right? And I mean, shoot, he was out. We were doing, we do some competitions, right? And he's out there kind of dominating it. And we did a little tug of war, right? He's the anchor, and like seeing a guy like that, when the competitive juices come out, but seeing a guy that, the confidence and his strength and his physicality right now. He's never going to be. I don't need him to be a guy I don't need him to be Jackson Halls and digging out blocks every single play, right? So they're completely different. They might play the same position, they're different type of players. But I feel like he's in a really good headspace right now, and him and Josh always have great chemistry. And keeping him in a healthy and in a good headspace is only going to help us. We know what our offense looks like or has looked like with him on the football field.
Did you say tug of war?
Yeah, we're going to compete.
You actually have tug of war challenges there?
We had a tug of war challenge. Yeah. When was the last time you did one?
How old am I?
Yeah, no, I know. Exactly. No, look, I don't want us to pick and choose when we're going to compete, right? So there'll be random times in training camp. There, every once in a while, we'll just in the middle of a period, we might stop and just do some things, right? And we want to have a competitive football team. And look, some of it's corny, but you want guys to just you learn a lot about guys when you do some competition stuff, like who wants to get out there, who's going to be willing to call guys out, who's not afraid to do some things that's out of their comfort zone. Like that's what kind of football is, right? You're going to have to compete in everything you do, right? And so there's a lot of, and that's not saying some of those things are things we've done here in the past. It's not like oh my God, this is just these guys are competing here, but it's something similar to something as simple as that. Just seeing a guy like Dalton Kincaid be like, I'll anchor it, where another team might have a nose tackle or something like that. And it's like, all right, cool. And then they win. It's like, all right, Dalton's, the confidence, all little things, but there's no such thing as them.
It's a good sign for the knee, I imagine.
There you go, right? Yeah, see? It's the little things right there. Headline, Dalton Kincaid good because he does tug of war.
My job's done.
There you go. Like it. Awesome. Appreciate you guys. It's not easy to have water.